Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Ross and
William.
And you can see today that we're here in our kitchen and we are actually going to do some delicious science today. So we're working on making some rock candy, but rock candy is actually the result of having a supersaturated solution. So a couple of things there. Our solution is sugar and water, so we have equal parts right now. 5 cups of water, 5 cups of sugar. And so a supersaturated solution means that you've put in more solute, so the thing that is dissolving, than the solvent can absorb. So the solvent in this case, the universal solvent, is water. So it is dissolving the sugar right now. Once that's all dissolved, we're going to start adding in more sugar until the water just can't take it anymore and the sugar stops dissolving. So there is a formula for this particular recipe. So for every 3 parts of sugar, you need 1 cup of water. So we put in, remember I told you there are 5 cups of water. So when you're doing ratios, whatever you do to one side, you need to do to the other side. So I did 1 times 5 to get 5. So I need to do 3 times 5, and that's going to be 15. So 15 cups of sugar, that's a lot. So you can adjust this for however many batches you want to make or however much rock candy you want to make. So we actually have 3 jars here that we're going to fill up. And in our jars, we've got a couple of different things that we're trying. So we've got 3 different things. So we have a string, so we're going to see how the crystals form on that. We have a wooden skewer, and then we have a wooden skewer that we rolled in sugar. So we're going to see, are the crystals more attracted to the string or the skewer? And then also, are they more attracted to the sugared skewer or the plain skewer? So a couple of things there that we're going to look at. So we are going to keep going till this is dissolved, and then we're going to add our sugar in. So we just added 5 more cups of sugar. So now we have 10 cups of sugar in there and 5 cups of water. So William, how's it feeling as the stirrer? Is the sugar dissolving?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually going fairly fast.
Okay.
Because you can still feel it. You can tell if it's there or not.
Okay.
Since we just dumped it in, I can obviously feel a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, it is dissolving.
Okay. All right. So we're going to give it a few more minutes. We're going to make sure that that amount of sugar actually dissolves. And then we'll start adding in our last 5 cups. So it may not be 5 cups exactly. It may get supersaturated before we hit 5 cups. But we'll start in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we've been stirring our next 5 cups in for a while. So we're at 10 cups now. So William's going to start stirring in the rest of the sugar, the last 5 cups. William, how would you describe the water to everybody?
How would I do?
What does it look like?
What does it
Is
look
it
like?
clear? Does it look like?
It's like beach water, kind of.
Okay.
And I guess if you haven't been to the beach, it's like muggy.
Okay.
In a way.
Okay, a little bit cloudy maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like swamp water with a little less swamp.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Do you want to dump those 2 in?
All right.
Okay. So we're not going to dump the last 5 in all at once, just because we want to make sure that we're getting the right amount. So William just dumped 2 cups in. So we have a potential 3 more cups that we're going to put in. Okay, what do you think? How's it going with the dissolving?
It's actually dissolved pretty quick.
Okay. Okay. All right, you want to put the next 2 cups in?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we've got 1 more cup potentially that we're going to add because that was 2 more cups. So we're at 14 cups of sugar.
Notice it is getting harder to break though before it gets in the water.
Oh, okay.
Before it just sink.
Yep.
Now it's like actually staying on top.
Oh, okay, interesting.
As the stir, I do not appreciate that.
Okay.
Do you want me to put that one in too?
Well, how's this going? Do you think it's still dissolving, or are we starting to see some crystals left? What do you say?
No, I think it's still going. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like definitely less now, like just
Okay.
less water-like.
Okay. So do you want to put the last
Yes.
cupful in? Okay. So William's going to stir this around, and then we're actually going to let it cool down a little bit before we put it in the jars. So just a couple of things. When you put these in the jars, glass jars work best because it won't stick to the glass. Plastic isn't so great for that. And also, when you put your skewers or whatever you're using in, make sure that the skewer isn't touching the bottom, because the crystals will actually, when they start to form, they'll actually attach to the bottom. So my class did this at Christmas with borax crystals, and we made Christmas ornaments on pipe cleaners, and we put them in the glass jars, and we said make sure they don't touch the bottom. And so nobody had them touching the bottom, but a few people got them really close. So when we came back in a few days later, the crystals had actually like cemented the whole ornament to the bottom of the jar. So make sure they're not touching the bottom, and also not too close to the bottom. All right, so we are gonna let this cool for a few minutes, and then we're gonna come back.
While you were talking though, I saw like a solid, like I was putting the spoon up.
Okay.
Like, there was still a solid piece.
Oh.
So I think it's starting to not.
Okay, so we're seeing that saturation. So
I don't know if I can find it again, but it was there.
if you think about the word saturation, and you say, oh, you know, my clothes are saturated, I got caught out in the rain, that means they can't hold any more water, right? Because they're so wet, they're going to be dripping because they're so wet. So a saturated solution, that's kind of the same thing. It can't hold any more sugar, so it's going to start not dissolving because it's saturated. It's holding as much as it can hold.
Too much.
It's too much, that's right.
Yeah.
So we're going to let this cool for about 10 minutes till it's just a little more workable for us to work with safely in the glass jars, and then we'll keep it going. Okay, so we have put our saturated solution, we've let it cool for a little while, and you can see that the water is certainly murky looking. And you can also possibly see down at the bottom of the jars, it looks like there is some sugar concentration down there. So we told you about 3 when we started the video, but we've actually thrown in a 4th one. So the one on the far right is a plastic bottle. So we are going to test just to see, we had some solution left over. We're going to test to see if plastic works as a storage container, if anything weird happens, or you know what, because it's always a good time to learn more science. Okay, so we have waited 16 days. We've had these glass jars and plastic jars on our kitchen counter, and we have been checking in on them, watching them grow. So, William, which one should we start with? Should we start with the string, the one in the plastic jar?
That one.
That one. Okay, so that is the one. We wetted that stick first, and we rolled it in sugar. So we're going to want to do a little comparison between that one and the one that we didn't roll in sugar. So, okay, you do the big reveal here.
Like just like that.
Okay, woo!
I'm
gonna just dab it on the paper towel, and then you can hold it up.
Paper towel.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we pull out the one that we didn't roll in sugar first? Yep.
Which one is that?
So
This
that's
one?
that one.
Okay. Here, I'll dab it on the towel.
Okay. Now, do you want to hold both of them up together so we can have a look? Because, what do you think about that? Did it make a big difference if we rolled it in sugar versus not? No, they both kind of got the same amount of crystals, eh?
This one got a little bit more. This one?
Yeah, actually, the one that we didn't roll in sugar got a little bit more crystallization. Okay, so now let's compare that. So those were both in glass jars. Let's compare that to the one we tried in a plastic jar.
Okay, so, this one's not really on that, but, whoa. Oh!
So look at how, can you hold that one up so we can see? There's really not much to see because we said you needed to make sure that you used a glass jar, and this is the reason why, right? Because the plastic just doesn't foster an environment where those crystals are going to glow. And then the last one is the one on the string.
Look
so
at that, bruh.
Whoa. So that's super fun.
Yeah. Dang.
Do you want to hold that up so we can see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like way more.
There's way more. So what would your conclusion be, William, if you're recommending people that they want to grow crystals? What would be the best thing to grow them with?
The string, I think.
Okay.
Unless, like, if you don't want it like this, like if you want it actually on a stick, then I'd say the one without sugar.
Okay.
But I think if you want it with, like, you want it, just take the string.
Okay. Do you want to give it a taste test?
I might do the other one because it'd be easier.
Okay. That's true. That's the only thing about the string. It's not as easy to taste.
Okay. You know what? Now it's not that good, but it's not that bad.
Okay. Does it just taste like hard sugar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, because what did we use to make it?
Sugar.
Sugar and water, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it would taste like sugar. So if you watched our Monday book chat, we were talking about Artemis Fowl, and I promised you something to do with things that you might find in the earth. So you might find crystals in the earth. So enjoy watching Artemis Fowl if you're watching that on Disney Plus, and you could make yourself some rock candy while you enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.